I recently discovered that my spouse, whom I'll call Laura, has been unfaithful, and the revelation came through some disturbing text exchanges. Although she's unaware that I know, I suspect her sister might also be complicit in this deceit. Laura and I tied the knot 8 years ago, shortly after our college graduation at the age of 22. Our marriage has been relatively stable, devoid of significant conflicts. We've always been open with each other, sharing access to our phones and personal email accounts. Just this morning, while Laura was still sleeping, I received a text from my brother on her phone. He wanted her to contact his wife, whom I'll call Jenna, because Jenna's phone was currently out of service. They were organizing a weekend getaway while my brother, a few friends, and I had plans to watch a football match. For the time being, my brother and Jenna were using the same phone. Seizing an opportunity to playfully startle Laura, I grabbed her phone to respond to my brother. That's when I stumbled upon her conversation with someone named Tom. Driven by curiosity, I scrolled through their messages and was horrified to find explicit texts and graphic images that detailed their late-night escapades, times when I was usually asleep. The shock was overwhelming, shattering my perception of our seemingly content life together. It was heart-wrenching to think that the years of shared memories and intimate moments meant so little to her. After absorbing the initial shock, I composed myself as best as I could, while Laura continued to sleep peacefully. The day proceeded as if nothing had happened. I prepared breakfast and gently woke her up. Throughout the morning, her phone received multiple texts from Tom, discussing their plans for the coming weekend. While Laura was in the bathroom, presumably replying to Tom, I remained downstairs to avoid any awkward interaction. After breakfast, she headed for a shower, and I attempted to unlock her phone, only to find out she had changed her password. It appeared she had tightened security on her social media and email accounts as well. Now I am left pondering my next steps, facing the harsh reality of betrayal and the daunting task of confronting the situation. As the evening unfolded, Laura made plans to meet with her friends, masking her intentions with the facade of an innocent gathering. Unknown to her, moments before she left, I managed to discreetly remove her phone from her bag, a difficult endeavor, yet driven by a necessity to uncover the truth. Once I accessed her phone, a stream of revelations emerged, sketching a detailed picture of her betrayal. Her phone revealed a network of deceit-detailed conversations, secret meetings, and concealed desires, all meticulously arranged. My heart sank as I discovered that even my sister-in-law, Jenna, was implicated in these secretive plans. After ensuring no trace of my access remained on her phone, I now find myself enveloped in a storm of mixed emotions. The dilemma is torturous. Should I confront Laura with the overwhelming evidence of her betrayal? Is it time to consider ending our marriage through divorce? And what of Jenna, caught in this web of lies? Should I drag her into the chaos that is sure to ensue? Luckily, I had the foresight to include a fidelity clause in our prenuptial agreement, considering our significant financial disparity. Now I ponder my next steps. Perhaps it is prudent to discreetly observe Laura's behavior further before making any rash decisions. Doubts cloud the sincerity of her outings, making me question the true nature of her so-called social gatherings. Forgive my extensive reflection, but I find myself compelled to articulate the whirlwind of feelings that this discovery has stirred within me. What was once a firm foundation of love now lies fractured, tainted by the harsh reality of betrayal. The damning messages have been meticulously documented and securely stored in my digital archives. Each word in those texts feels like a betrayal, cutting deeply into the sanctity of our relationship, leaving behind a profound sense of loss and disillusionment. My emotions plummeted as I perused the messages, each one a piercing blow to my heart. Yet, I was determined not to let this defeat me quietly. Promptly, I enlisted the services of a private investigator to monitor Laura's movements throughout the upcoming weekend. I knew swift action was crucial. I then spent what felt like an eternity updating all my passwords, securing personal information, and creating a disposable email account to discreetly handle evidence. Laura returned home later, and the act of maintaining normalcy was excruciating. Our interactions were hollow, devoid of any warmth. I also took the precaution of consulting several top-tier divorce attorneys, prepared financially by my significantly higher earnings. One of the toughest challenges was deflecting Laura's sudden affectionate overtures that evening. Her behavior was unusually intense, perhaps a misguided attempt to elicit forgiveness through physical closeness. I steadfastly resisted, keeping my distance. As she disappeared into the bathroom, the sound of her rapidly typing messages fueled a fierce anger inside me. Despite her continued physical appeal, I refrained from any intimacy. My trust thoroughly eroded. Exhausted both emotionally and mentally, I sought some peace in sleep, which remained elusive as turmoil churned in my mind. It was clear the path to recovery would be long and fraught. Greeting the new day with heavy exhaustion, I admitted my inability to crack her phone's security. I left this in the hands of the capable private investigator, confident in their ability to gather the necessary proof. The investigator was scheduled to begin surveillance at 10 a.m., meticulously noting her every action. Meanwhile, I had a critical meeting with my lawyer at 1 p.m., filling my day with pressing engagements. As I prepared breakfast amidst the morning chaos, a storm of emotions threatened to overwhelm me. Even though I managed to appear calm, anger and resentment boiled under the surface. The arrival of Linda, unwittingly entangled in Laura's schemes, signaled the start of their secret plan. I watched their interactions carefully, my emotions a mix of vigilance and disdain, as I anticipated the unfolding events of this critical day. When they finally left, running behind schedule, the private investigator was ready, equipped with cameras and recorders, poised to capture every detail of the saga that was about to unfold. The continuous updates from the private investigator kept the tension high, making it feel as if I were watching a thriller unfold before my eyes. Laura didn't stick to her stated plans. Instead, she dropped Linda off at a Starbucks and then sped away alone. The private investigator tailed her closely, feeding me real-time updates on every sharp turn and abrupt stop she made. Her driving was unpredictable, suggesting she might be trying to shake off anyone who might be following her. As I juggled this personal crisis with my professional life, I found myself forced to rearrange my meeting with the divorce lawyer to handle the ongoing situation more effectively. Laura's journey eventually took her back to a shopping center, but instead of joining Linda at Starbucks, she parked in a remote area of the lot. It seemed she was there to engage in secretive communication. Meanwhile, Linda remained in the coffee shop, her role in this day's events adding layers to the mystery. The sudden appearance of an unknown man meeting with Laura added a new layer of complexity. His identity and his role in this scenario were unclear, raising questions about whether he was just a random passerby or someone more significantly involved in Laura's secretive activities. After a brief, enigmatic interaction, the man left, his departure leaving a trail of unease. The atmosphere was tense when Laura and Linda reunited in the car, suggesting hidden secrets between them, masked by a facade of normalcy. Time seemed to stretch interminably as the private investigator continued his diligent surveillance, his presence a constant reminder of the search for truth amidst a web of deceit. Their next move was even more telling. Laura and Linda drove to a nondescript hotel, hinting at possible clandestine meetings. The two entered the hotel together, sparking a whirlwind of possible scenarios. Were they meeting someone else? Or was there another reason for this secretive rendezvous? Inside the hotel restaurant, they maintained a facade of calmness, engaging in what appeared to be casual conversation. Yet, their composed exterior did nothing to alleviate the suspense of what might be transpiring out of sight. When they abruptly left the hotel, the suspense escalated. I was left on edge, wondering what other secrets might be revealed next. The intricate dance of their movements continued to weave a complex tapestry of deceit, with each thread pulling me closer to a truth that seemed just out of reach. The unfolding events promised more revelations, each potentially peeling back another layer of the hidden agendas at play. Laura's movements grew more erratic as the day progressed. Pete, the private investigator I hired, kept a safe distance, ensuring he wouldn't be detected as he continued to tail their vehicle. Despite the distance, Laura's repeated U-turns suggested she was paranoid about being followed, although it seemed unlikely she knew about Pete given his discretion. After a series of confusing maneuvers, Laura finally dropped Linda off at the hotel and handed her a hotel key card, indicating they had prepared a room in advance. Linda casually entered the hotel, waving goodbye to Laura, who then drove back towards a residential area. At the residential neighborhood, the situation escalated quickly. Laura met with a man at the front of a house. It was Mike, confirming my worst fears. Their greeting was far from innocent. They shared a kiss before she followed him inside. Pete managed to capture this moment, solidifying the evidence of her infidelity. While all this unfolded, the social media sphere was blissfully unaware of the real drama. Laura entered Mike's house without any haste, as if unconcerned about being seen. My disappointment was profound. I had held onto a sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, there was a misunderstanding. But the reality was undeniable and painfully clear. I had barely processed this when another twist hit. Carly, unaware of the depth of the situation, texted my brother about Laura's activities. My brother, now in the loop, relayed this information to me. Suddenly it seemed everyone knew about the affair except for the public facade we all maintained. Now I need to strategize carefully. My brother and Carly must play their roles as if unaware when they next speak to me. In just a quarter of an hour, my world had turned upside down, with all pretenses of normalcy shattered. I'm left to navigate this revelation and its aftermath, figuring out how to confront Laura and manage the fallout within our family and social circles. If Laura discovers the truth, all my efforts to gather evidence will be in vain. I need to find a way to silence them without revealing my intentions. Can anyone offer advice? Your insights are invaluable to me right now. To summarize, the story continues with Carly's assumption of a weekend getaway, blissfully unaware of the covert activities surrounding her. The visit to Starbucks remains enigmatic, with Carly's intentions obscured by uncertainty. Laura and Carly's suspicious maneuvers, likely prompted by surveillance concerns, only add to the confusion. A seemingly casual meal at the hotel masks the seriousness of the situation, as Laura's hurried departure raises questions about their interaction's nature. Whether driven by excitement or clandestine motives, the urgency of Laura's actions remains uncertain. The conversation between Laura and Carly, ostensibly about safety and reassurance, belies the tension simmering beneath the surface. With Carly safely settled in their shared space, Laura returns home, where Mike's presence looms ominously. Faced with the decision to continue surveillance or explore other investigative avenues, Pete finds himself paralyzed by indecision. Each choice carries its own risks and rewards, leaving him overwhelmed by the magnitude of the task. The fragile veil of secrecy teeters on the brink, as the revelation of Pete's knowledge threatens to disrupt the intricate dance of deception. With time slipping away, Pete grapples with the need to gather concrete evidence to support his claims. Amidst the whirlwind of revelations and uncertainties, Pete takes comfort in the knowledge that time is on his side. With determination to leverage all available resources, he resolves to capitalize on Laura's ignorance, embarking on a journey of discovery to unravel the tangled web ensnaring them all. While I was having lunch, I tried to distract myself by reading replies, though I didn't respond. The private investigator is still monitoring Laura and Mike's residence. If they venture out, I anticipate more revealing updates. The initial joy of our relationship seems short-lived compared to the enduring pain this betrayal is likely to cause. I'll check back in and update you all about 10 to 15 minutes. After taking a moment to cool down during lunch, my earlier agitation has subsided somewhat. The PI sent me a message indicating there's activity in the house as he continues his watch. I've decided that Carly should remain in the dark about the gathered evidence. She's not fully trustworthy. I've instructed my brother to avoid discussing the situation and advised Carly similarly, giving myself some time to evaluate my next steps. This approach has helped stabilize my emotions. However, there are still unanswered questions, like their visit to Duncan and the identity of the man who spoke to Carly there. It's not Mike. I can't discuss the extent of proof needed with my lawyer as his office closed at 2 p.m., but we have an appointment set for Monday at 7 a.m. Meanwhile, Laura and Mike were seen preparing to leave their house from the front porch. A distraction came in the form of a doorbell ring. Someone was pitching a cable service upgrade. It seems unrelated to everything else, so I'll try not to be overly paranoid. Such door-to-door solicitations are common in this area. Please, no need to fret over the cable guy. He was clearly identified, had a company car complete with equipment, and appeared legitimate. Laura and Mike were spotted relaxing and holding hands on the front porch, seemingly at ease. The PI is maintaining a good distance. They have no way of spotting him, but he has a clear view. Eventually, they left Mike's place, and the PI is following them. The suspense continues to build for all of us. They headed towards the Duncan shopping center, though it's unclear why. Perhaps they've already eaten. Laura and Mike parked at the shopping center and sat in their car, much like Laura and Carly did earlier, engaging in conversation. The plot thickens. The man who met Carly at Duncan earlier has now joined Laura and Mike in their car. They all appear to be discussing something. The situation is heating up once more. I'll share proof of all this later. Right now, I'm focused on keeping up with these developments as they unfold rapidly, reminiscent of earlier events. They've left the shopping center with the PI discreetly in pursuit. They arrived at the hotel where Mike, Laura, and the unidentified man went inside, while Carly is presumably somewhere inside the hotel as well. I'm guessing the stranger could be an acquaintance of Carly's. Judging by his average build, not particularly tall or muscular, it's a mystery how the PI can continue to follow them without raising suspicion. The unfolding events sketch a scenario of hidden dealings deep within the hotel's complex, leaving Pete and his private investigator wrestling with the daunting uncertainty of it all. With Laura, Carly, and Sarah tucked away within the hotel's intricate hallways, the truth remains just beyond grasp, shrouded in secrecy. The private investigator's question of whether to continue watching or end the day highlights the weighty decision at hand. The idea of spending endless hours monitoring the hotel, possibly without significant revelations, looms large. Yet, the risk of losing critical information by leaving too soon complicates an already tangled situation. The interplay of deception involving Laura and Carly adds layers to Pete's predicament. Carly's prompt move to notify Laura of her supposed indiscretions suggests a strategic effort to shift suspicion away, a clever move in their intricate game of deceit. The exposure of Laura's accusation against Carly thrusts Pete into a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, unraveling his world as he faces the painful allegations against his wife. The mere thought of Laura's intimacy with another is nearly unbearable, yet his commitment to uncovering the full truth remains unshaken. Amidst this emotional turmoil, Pete finds some comfort in the support from the Reddit community. Despite the pervasive skepticism online, the genuine empathy and encouragement from fellow users shine as a beacon of hope in these trying moments. As this narrative continues, Pete stands at a crucial juncture, his decisions now set to significantly affect his path forward. With every update, he edges closer to unveiling the reality, navigating through the perilous landscape of betrayal with steadfast courage and resolve. As I continue to grapple with what to say to Laura, I lean towards staying silent for now. I'm wary of saying something in haste that could jeopardize the whole investigation. Currently, there's a lull in the action. They're still inside the hotel. My private investigator is on the clock for 1 more hour before he needs to leave. Updates might slow down for now, but they could pick up again tonight if Laura returns home, or if I receive any more telling texts. They're supposed to spend the night at the hotel, but anything could happen. I plan to share a detailed update on Monday or Tuesday, so keep an eye on my profile for all the juicy details. I appreciate everyone's support today. It's been incredibly helpful. For now, updates will be sporadic, but check back tonight or definitely by early next week for more. Thanks to everyone who sent private messages. Your support has been wonderful. With PI wrapping up soon, Pi will take over the evening shift until 11 p.m. My inbox is brimming with messages. It's been a busy day. They're still in the hotel, and they seem settled in for the day since food is also being delivered there. It appears Laura convinced Carly to visit Mike's house with her, possibly to familiarize Carly with the location, in case something happened to Laura, positioning Carly as her backup. However, after bringing Mike and the other man to the hotel, Carly seemed hesitant about proceeding with any deceitful actions, potentially wary of betraying her own husband. This might be why Laura seems to be turning against Carly. I'll need a few days to confirm what really transpired between them. I'll be posting screenshots of our texts soon for proof. Pi is already on the scene, monitoring their movements, or lack thereof, from the hotel. Expect more updates and some potentially explosive revelations in my next post on Monday or Tuesday. It's shaping up to be quite the tale. After a monotonous day marked by solitude, save for a brief interaction with the cable guy, I managed to grab some dinner and am now back online. I spent the evening fast-forwarding through stakeout footage and catching up on the few updates I received. I know some are skeptical, but I'm focused on this unfolding situation. When I post the proof, it will be blurred to protect identities, expected either tonight or tomorrow morning. Amidst this unfolding drama, the weight of the entire situation is profoundly felt. As I reflect, a sense of regret for not foreseeing or preventing these events gnaws at me. The realization that wealth and material success are no substitutes for the deep intrinsic value of love, family, and trust becomes ever more apparent as I navigate through this personal crisis. The unrelenting ache of isolation gnaws at Pete's spirit as he faces the prospect of navigating life's hurdles without the support of his family. With the dark cloud of potential familial breakdown looming, Pete clings to the tenuous strands of kinship still left, burdened by the heavy anticipation of profound loss. The idea of walking through middle age devoid of love and companionship strikes a chilling note for Pete, too grim to fully accept. Resolute in his determination, he vows to rise from the depths of despair, aiming to forge a new path anchored by the hope of finding a companion who will remain steadfast beside him in both good times and bad. As a new day dawns, the heaviness of grief and betrayal presses down on him, threatening to crush his spirit. The persistent ache in his heart is a palpable echo of the deeper pain coursing through him, a pain that resists every effort to find comfort. Caught in the whirlwind of messages from Laura and Carly, Pete is momentarily silenced, overwhelmed by the gravity of his circumstances. The uncertainty before him grows with each ticking second, its vastness threatening to engulf him completely. In his struggle to preserve some semblance of normalcy, Pete constructs a facade of calm, spinning a web of half-truths to calm Laura's growing suspicions. But beneath this surface of control, fissures start to appear, hinting at the potential collapse of his constructed reality. As the evening unfolds, Pete finds himself on the edge of despair, his heart burdened by the weight of truths left unspoken. Alone in the quiet, he confronts the brutal reality of his fragmented dreams, yearning for a touch of human warmth to dispel the biting cold of isolation that threatens to overtake him. I found it impossible to just ignore Jenna as she began sending me messages non-stop around 10 p.m., clearly distressed and likely on the verge of making a rash decision. I knew dismissing her texts could have led to reckless actions on her part, as people often act irrationally when they're panicking. Unlike me, Jenna tends not to keep her cool in such situations. I decided to call my brother, Mike, to update him on everything that was happening, including details of the investigation. He reassured me that he would be here first thing in the morning. It was a relief to know he was informed and no longer out of the loop. Jenna eventually responded tersely with, "Okay, whatever. I'm going to bed. Good night." I tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy in my reply. "Fine. I already miss you. Good night." Trying to act nonchalant is more difficult than one might expect. As I near the age of 30, the reality that losing one's parents is a common part of life grows ever more clear. Despite this, I find myself longing for the comforting presence of my father, who always had a unique way of alleviating my worries. I deeply miss his guidance, especially during these trying times. It's crucial for those who still have their parents to realize the importance of cherishing them and treating them with the utmost respect, as our time with them is limited. While I have always treated my father well, the longing for his company haunts me. As I express these feelings, I find myself on the verge of tears, overwhelmed by a surge of sorrow for the loss of his comforting presence. I am profoundly thankful for the outpouring of support I've received. Each message acts as a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness of my sorrow. As I prepare to step away from the online world for the night, a cautious optimism fills my heart. Knowing that I am not navigating these challenges alone offers immense comfort. The promise of updates from the private investigator provides some reassurance, and I am taking proactive steps to secure my home against potential threats, especially given Laura's possible return. Throughout the silent hours of the night, I find solace in the solidarity of the digital community, drawing strength from their encouraging words. Each message serves as a poignant reminder that I am not alone in facing the obstacles ahead. Despite the uncertainty that tomorrow brings, I am fortified by the unwavering support of those who stand with me. As I prepare to retreat into the quiet sanctuary of my thoughts, I am grateful for the bonds forged in the digital realm. Though tomorrow may present its own set of trials, I approach them with renewed determination, strengthened by the knowledge that a caring community surrounds me. With heartfelt gratitude, I bid farewell to the night, ready to confront whatever challenges await me with steadfast resolve in the dawn of a new day. This entire ordeal has been incredibly harrowing and filled with deep pain. My 8-year marriage with Laura, which began with bright and hopeful aspirations, is now disintegrating under the heavy burden of deception and betrayal. The moment I stumbled upon those damning messages, it felt as though the foundation of our shared life crumbled instantly. The revelation that our cherished memories, shared adventures, and intimate moments were seemingly insignificant to her was shattering. Since discovering the messages, I've been engulfed in a continuous state of stress and anxiety. Maintaining a facade of normalcy with Laura, acting as if all is well, has been an immense challenge. I've been plagued with doubts about how to proceed. Although confronting her seemed like the right approach, I knew I needed concrete evidence first. Engaging a private investigator provided a semblance of control. His professional conduct has helped me confirm that Laura is indeed involved with Mike. Throughout this ordeal, I've felt trapped by a tumult of emotions, anger, sorrow, disillusionment, and distress, all tearing at me. The possibility that my sister-in-law might be complicit in the affair adds another layer of complexity and betrayal to the situation. It's difficult to articulate the breadth of feelings that surge through me. Each new message between Laura and Mike, each confirmation of their clandestine meetings by the investigator, strikes like a fresh wound to my heart. Despite the anguish, I strive to stay focused on what lies ahead. I have gathered substantial evidence, sought out top-notch divorce attorneys, and braced myself for the challenges that await. One of the most challenging aspects has been resisting Laura's efforts to repair our bond through physical closeness. Although her charm and allure are undiminished, I have had to firmly resist these overtures. Each of her gestures, Every secretive message, every password change on her devices has only reinforced my determination to unearth the full extent of her deceit. The wait for the investigation's findings has been agonizing. Watching Laura and Mike coordinate their liaisons while I keep up appearances has been excruciatingly painful. Yet, I understood that it was essential to amass all the necessary evidence to proceed effectively. Now I find myself on the cusp of momentous decisions. Divorce appears inevitable, and I am braced to fight for my freedom and what is just. The sting of betrayal will linger for a long time, yet I am hopeful that with time I will heal and begin anew. The support from friends, family, and even strangers online has endowed me with the fortitude to press forward. This ordeal has irrevocably altered me. It has underscored the importance of vigilance and caution with those I trust. Despite the challenges, I stand resilient and prepared to advocate for my future. I am profoundly thankful for the support I have received and hold firm in my belief that truth will ultimately triumph. This journey has not only tested my endurance, but has also illuminated the true value of trust, loyalty, and the essence of genuine love. Reflecting on the happy times shared with Laura, I am struck by a profound sense of loss. Those once cherished memories now feel overshadowed by her deception. However, in these turbulent times, I find comfort in knowing I am not alone. The empathy and encouragement from others shine as a beacon of hope. As I gear up for the forthcoming legal confrontations, I am also mentally preparing for the emotional healing that must follow. The prospect of reconstructing my life from the ground up is daunting, yet I am resolved to come out stronger. I am committed to rediscovering peace and happiness, liberated from the shadows of betrayal. Ultimately, this trying period has taught me a powerful lesson in resilience. It has shown me that one can find the strength to persevere through profound betrayal and heartache. The path to recovery will undoubtedly be long and filled with obstacles, but I am ready to tackle them head-on. Supported by those who care for me, I am confident that I will navigate towards a brighter, more joyful future. Thank you all for your invaluable support. Your messages have been a crucial support, guiding me through this emotional tempest. As I move forward, I will carry your words of encouragement with me, a testament to the power of human compassion and solidarity. Together, we will overcome, and I will emerge from this ordeal with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. Upon discovering Laura's betrayal, my world turned upside down. The emotional weight of this revelation left me grappling with a myriad of thoughts and emotions. Here's my extended reflection on the situation. 8 years of marriage, built on what I believed to be a foundation of trust and mutual respect, now lay in ruins. The text messages I found revealed a side of Laura I never imagined existed. It was a devastating blow, not just because of the betrayal itself, but because of the sheer magnitude of deceit that had been woven into the fabric of our lives. As I read through the explicit texts and saw the graphic images, my heart sank. Every word and image was a knife, cutting deeper into the trust I had placed in Laura. The shock was overwhelming. How could the person I loved and trusted the most engage in such behavior? The realization that my marriage, which I thought was stable and fulfilling, was nothing more than a facade, was almost too much to bear. For the sake of our daily routine, I had to mask my true feelings. Preparing breakfast, waking Laura, and going through the motions of a normal morning felt surreal. The constant pings of messages from Tom on her phone were a painful reminder of the betrayal. Her attempt to hide the affair by changing her phone's password and securing her social media accounts only confirmed my suspicions. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal while my mind was a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sadness, betrayal, and confusion battled within me. Laura's actions left me questioning everything about our relationship. Every memory, every shared moment seemed tainted by her infidelity. When Laura left for her supposed meeting with friends, I seized the chance to investigate further. Unlocking her phone revealed a web of deceit far more intricate than I had imagined. Detailed plans, secret meetings, and Jenna's involvement only added to the betrayal. This was not just a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a deliberate and ongoing affair. Documenting the evidence was crucial. I needed to protect myself, especially considering the fidelity clause in our prenuptial agreement. This clause, originally meant as a safeguard due to our financial disparity, now became a vital part of my strategy moving forward. Hiring a private investigator was the next logical step. I needed concrete evidence to confront Laura, and, if necessary, to support my case in a potential divorce. The investigator's role was to monitor Laura's activities and gather irrefutable proof of her infidelity. Despite the emotional turmoil, I had to maintain a facade of normalcy. Consulting top-tier divorce attorneys was a difficult but necessary step. I needed to be prepared for any eventuality, both legally and financially. The significant earnings disparity between us meant that a divorce could have serious financial implications. Laura's sudden affectionate behavior that evening was almost unbearable. Her attempts to rekindle intimacy felt hollow and insincere. My trust in her was shattered, and no amount of physical closeness could repair that. That night, sleep eluded me. My mind raced with thoughts of betrayal and plans for the future. The next morning, as I prepared breakfast amidst a storm of emotions, I realized the gravity of the situation. The private investigator began surveillance, and I awaited updates with bated breath. Laura's deviation from her stated plans, her secretive actions, and Linda's role in the day's events added layers of complexity to the situation. It became clear that this was not a simple affair. It was a deeply rooted deception involving multiple people. As I navigated through this emotional and logistical maze, I found myself questioning the very foundation of our relationship. The person I thought I knew so well had become a stranger, and the life we had built together seemed like a cruel illusion. In the midst of this turmoil, I remained determined to uncover the truth and protect myself. The coming days would be challenging, but I was resolute in my pursuit of justice and closure. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: I could no longer live in the shadow of this betrayal. Continuing from where I left off, the emotional storm inside me only grew stronger as I delved deeper into the labyrinth of deceit woven by Laura. My love for her, which had been a source of strength and joy, now felt like a burden, weighing down my heart with the heaviness of betrayal. As the private investigator's updates rolled in, I found myself constantly on edge. Each message from the investigator was a reminder of the treacherous reality I now faced. Laura's behavior had become erratic, her actions more secretive and suspicious. The investigator's meticulous documentation painted a clearer picture of her infidelity, each piece of evidence a dagger to my already wounded heart. The private investigator's surveillance revealed a disturbing pattern. Laura was not only meeting Tom, but also engaging in activities that were far removed from the life we had shared. Her secret rendezvous and late-night escapades were a stark contrast to the person I thought I knew. The more I learned, the more I realized how deep the betrayal ran. Confronting Laura was inevitable, yet I knew I had to be strategic. The evidence I had gathered would protect me legally, but the emotional confrontation would be a different battle. I needed to be composed and clear-headed, despite the tumultuous emotions raging within me. In preparation for the confrontation, I sought the counsel of my lawyer, discussing the prenuptial agreement and the implications of Laura's infidelity. The fidelity clause, which we had included as a precaution, now served as my shield. My lawyer's guidance was invaluable, providing a roadmap for the difficult journey ahead. As the weekend unfolded, I found myself in a state of constant vigilance. Laura's interactions with Tom and her deceitful behavior with Linda added layers of complexity to the situation. The private investigator's detailed reports provided a stark contrast to the normalcy Laura tried to portray at home. On Sunday morning, Laura announced her plans to visit a friend, a routine that had now become a glaring red flag. The investigator followed her closely. capturing every detail of her clandestine activities. Meanwhile, I steeled myself for the impending confrontation, knowing it would mark a turning point in our lives. When Laura returned home that evening, the tension was palpable. My heart raced as I prepared to confront her, the evidence neatly compiled and ready. I chose a moment when we were alone, away from prying eyes and distractions. "Laura," I began, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me, "we need to talk." She looked at me, her expression a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. I could see the gears turning in her mind, trying to gauge the seriousness of my tone. "I know about Tom," I said, holding her gaze. "I know about the affair." Her face paled, and for a moment she was speechless. The silence that followed was deafening, the weight of the truth hanging heavy in the air. How did you find out?" she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. "It doesn't matter how I found out," I replied, my voice firm. "What matters is that I know. I have seen the messages, the photos, everything." Laura's eyes filled with tears, but I remained resolute. "You betrayed me, Laura. You shattered the trust we built over 8 years. And it wasn't just a one-time mistake. It was a calculated, ongoing deception." Her tears flowed freely now, but my heart remained unmoved. The betrayal was too deep, the wounds too fresh. "I've spoken to a lawyer," I continued, "and I've taken steps to protect myself. We have a prenuptial agreement with a fidelity clause, and your actions have violated that." Laura's sobs grew louder, but I remained focused. "I don't know what the future holds for us, Laura, but I do know that I can't continue living in this web of lies." As I finished speaking, the weight of the past few days settled over me. Confronting Laura was the first step in a long journey towards healing. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with legal battles and emotional challenges, but I was determined to reclaim my life, to rebuild from the ashes of this betrayal. The confrontation marked the beginning of a new chapter, one where I would prioritize my own well-being and seek justice for the wrongs done to me. The future was uncertain, but I was ready to face it head-on, armed with the truth and the strength to move forward.